with technique, he will be elite. If his technique becomes great, not just good, then he's a Hall of Famer.
Going down again. Left cue. Red Williams.
Fighting through contact, fighting through offensive line, being double team, multiple moves stacked into one, just a play of pure domination. This is actual film. This is actual football talk. It's a football show. We're supposed to talk football, not storylines.
And you are listening to another edition of Blewett's Blitz. I stopped counting the numbers, but we're going to be doing Elijah Moore today. Usually I have Marcus Coleman on for this, but we'll probably have him on for like Jason Pinnock and maybe another corner. And then we'll most likely be doing a live stream as well. I'm recording this on Tuesday. It might be released on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'm not sure what day it is released yet. Because I still have to finish an article. But if it's before Thursday, that means that the live stream with myself, Robbie Sabo, and Michael Nania is Thursday at 7 o'clock. If this gets released on Friday, then check it out. Last night, we had a live stream with myself, Michael Nania, and Robbie Sabo talking about the draft, etc. This is a time where a lot of people, it's a dead time. Fortunately for you, if you're a subscriber, even if not, you get probably about a third to a fourth of the show on YouTube. For the people who do not know that, like I said, I think at the end of it, the watermark says that if you want the full video, go to Jets X Factor. You're getting about a third of what we put out on this. So we have a ton coming still. We have the entire draft class to do. So a lot of people will be talking about the same thing over and over and over again. We have to do 2 more reviews on Zach Wilson. We have to do Elijah Vera Tucker. I'm going to do mostly his film at guard. I'm going to do a little bit of tackle just to show you his ability to tackle as well. But since he's mostly going to be guard, I'm going to do a lot of the 2019 film. Elijah Moore today, 48 plays. Michael Carter is coming up next. We have Sherwood, which is going to be like 15 to 20 plays. I don't have a ton on him. Michael Carter's going to be like 20-ish plays. Pinnock's going to be like 20 to 30 plays. Nazir Ladine, I have a ton of film on, so I'll do a lot of him. We have Brandon Eccles. We have Jonathan Marshall. I already finished up Kenny Yeboah. Hamilcar Rashid Jr. We have him coming. Isaiah Dunn coming. And then that's not even including the free agency stuff to do. I still have rankings to do, which I've already recorded. I still have to do a show on. Keelan Cole's done. Joyner's done. Vinny Curry is done. And then I think I'm going to do Tevin Coleman and Croft. I don't think you guys care about Feeney and Justin Hardy too much. I'm not going to do those. But I think all in total, that's like 20 reviews still to do with a live stream twice a month. I'm going to say, myself, Nania, and Saber are going to do it once or twice a month, at least once a month. And then I'm going to do it with Kyle at least once a month. So we have 2 live streams coming every single month. We'll do 53-man roster predictions. We'll do roster battles. We still have a ton to talk about with the draft. Me and Kyle barely scraped through the draft in 3.5 hours because a ton of callers called on the live stream, which is freaking awesome. So we have so much to do. That's at least 25, 26 shows. Hopefully by August. So I'm going to be dumping a show or 2 a week just on film alone. So stick around. Again, subscribe. It's $5 a month. It's $50 a year if you want to buy a year. For my opinion, the best Jets content around in terms of getting actual knowledgeable stuff. So like I said, 48 plays of Elijah Moore. I'm going to do the strengths and weaknesses at the end. Sorry for the people who are not subscribers to the website, but again, I have to put some incentives for you to listen all the way to the end. 1 and 2 to subscribe. So only the subscribers to the website are going to get the strengths and weaknesses. I'll talk about some of them as they come, throughout the review, but my full actual list, which I didn't hammer down yet, like in terms of like making it a really clean and crisp list. Clean and crisp list. I'm doing that for the article. That's going to be the end of the article. Again, that's only for subscribers as well. That's why it's at the end. You can scroll through the first fourth of the article, but the end is going to be the strengths and weaknesses. So subscribe. If not, if you wanted to check out a fourth of it and just see, let's say we're doing 48 today, you'll probably get 15 to 20. That's cool too. It's completely fine. You get enough. That's more than you're going to get anywhere else. So let's see. First play of the season. This is literally the first play of the season for Ole Miss. We're going to show a lot of him doing different things, from yak to being lined up in the backfield, to deep routes, to in the slot. I'll bring up, again, the strengths and weaknesses later in the show. I'll talk about some of the things I wanted to see more from him at Ole Miss. Some of the things I think he struggles with, and it's, to be completely honest, it's quite a short list of things I think he has to work on. But we'll talk about that in the future. So the number 8, I think he's going to wear number 8 for the Jets. I'm not going to lie. It's funny. Every single offseason and every time a Jamal Adams, Le'Veon Bell, a Sam Darnold gets traded or released, I'm never buying a jersey again. I'm not doing it. And then the season comes, they draft these guys. I'm like, okay, so I have a green Quinnen Williams. I need 2 more active players. So I think I'm going to rock a Zach Wilson white. And I'm probably going to get Elijah Moore black. Because number 8, if he rocks a single-digit number, I think that's awesome. So I have to get it. I struggle between him and Mims. I really, really like the Mims coming out too, and I still think he's going to be a good player. So, but he's not wearing a single-digit. If he was rocking 5, it would be a discussion between him and Mims. I really don't know. But number 8, right here, and we're just going to see some again a jet motion that stops half or orbit motion that stops halfway. Gets the pass on the screen. And a lot of the stuff with the yak stuff, there's not a ton to break down. I do like that he angles up field here to hold these guys inside and then breaks to the outside, just giving himself a little bit more room. Obviously sees number 9 here coming at a hard angle over the top. Has the ability to stop quickly. Strong feet, little club spin, stiff arm spin, whatever you want to call it, and he picks up some more yards. So we'll watch it again. And he has good ability, obviously, for yak. I don't think he's a Kadarius Toney, who's like an elite yak guy. I think he's pretty good at yak. I would say definitely above average. It's just not Kadarius Toney level. It might not be, I didn't even really watch him last year to be transparent. But like a Laviska Shenault, like there's something. It's very good, but it's not those guys, because there are some times where I think he could have been a little bit more creative, but overall still really, really, really good. It's definitely a very plush trait. A 3x1 right here. He's the outside slot number 2 right here. And that trips, and they run a cab, which is he's a dig and a sit, and it's probably an option right there. In that offense, I would assume. So I call it a cab. It's a levels type read, and it's not the sharpest break. And the thing I want people, and I've said this before on receivers, you're going to see more square cuts and sharp cuts when it's versus man coverage. But when it's zone and guys are playing off, you want to get to the spot quicker. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the sharpest. It's obviously, depending on the situation, which we may talk about, we may not. It depends on how sharp you want to make it versus zone. But typically versus zone, it doesn't have to be a square cut. A square cut would actually hurt you, or let's just say a sharp cut where you're actually taking like 2 stops, a break. Like you don't have to do that in zone, because you just want to get to that spot quickly. So right here, not necessarily the sharpest route. Again, he doesn't need to be. The one thing that I love that he does is he always attacks the ball. His hands are super, super smooth, really soft hands. He's a really natural catcher. He rarely, if ever, I don't know if I saw, to be completely honest, I'm trying to go over my head. I don't know if I saw one body catch this year or from the whole 2020 season that I watched of him. Maybe there was one that's slipping my mind. But super natural hands, really good technique in terms of high pointing the ball, attacking the ball, good in terms of his technique with his hands. And I like that he always comes back to it, and he always runs through the catch. And right here, he does little things like you can see the angle that he's taking right here. The safety, the linebacker, it looked like, I didn't really look at the defense, but based on wherever he's lined up, it looks like Tampa too. So this linebacker is going to drive, and because he attacks the ball and changes his angle, and kind of loops around, it actually gives him more yak opportunities. So he's really, really good at that, where if he stayed on this flat angle, maybe he gets contacted right here. But because he comes back to the ball and changes his angle right here, that gets him that yak. Like he does those things really, really well. Catch the ball, tuck, and obviously runs forward for some more yardage. So really, really good right there too. Let's see, yak again. It's not going to be all yak, trust me. These are just the plays that came up first. He's going to run this jet motion, I think, from the boundary right here in this stack. It's him and Yeboah, which I think – no. Is that Yeboah? I don't know if this is Yeboah. The good thing about watching Ole Miss is I killed two birds with one stone. I watched Ole Miss. I got to just watch both of these guys. Yeboah is interesting. There's definitely a reason he fell, which we'll talk about. Overall, do I think he should have been undrafted? Probably not. Do I think he can make the team for the Jets? I think he will. I think it's really competition right now between him, Daniel Brown, and I guess Ryan Griffin. I think Wesco, Croft, and Herndon are locks at this point. People might not agree with Wesco, but watch his tape. Go on my Twitter, search at JRB Wesco thread, and you're gonna see how much he was used as an H-back, as a fullback, as a blocker, and that's gonna be important for this offense. So I think he's a lock. So I think Yeboah can make it. He just competed with Daniel Brown and Ryan Griffin for that fourth spot. Maybe even third spot. They consider Wesco just a straight up fullback. So takes the Jet. And again, the little things that he does, like it's really little, but it's things that set up Yak, and it's important to note when you're watching these guys, and especially when it comes to the NFL level, because there's some things that people may do in college that is not going to work in the NFL. And a lot of people just watch college tape and they'll see something work in that instance, and they'll say, okay, it's going to work in the NFL. And there's really little things you kind of got to look for to see if it's going to work, from angles, from, like Michael Carter, like, is he pressing the line before he cuts outside, or is he taking a hold too early, which will lead to linebackers scraping over the top, or is he holding those linebackers? How are receivers' routes? Does this translate? There's some reps later that I'll show of Michael Carter where he wins a press rep, but I actually don't like the press rep that he wins on. So there's things you really have to look for, translatable athleticism, a bunch of these things. And I like that he takes his handoff, and you can see how he kind of bends his track right there. You see how he takes it from the 5 to about the 4, and that's just to avoid any inside penetration. So I like that he bends it back a little bit right there, gains more depth. Now he's reading his blocks. Head inside, he's going outside. He's going to press the outside, cut inside to hold him outside, open up his angle inside, cut inside. Again, now there's pressure from the inside. Where's the open field? To the outside. He cuts outside. Nice hand right there to wipe away the defender's left hand to contain him. Wipes it down, cut inside, stiff arm, club, whatever you want to call it. Gets inside of that guy too, and picks up some extra yardage right there. So we'll watch it in full speed. Again, definitely really, really good Yak player. I wouldn't say it's elite, but let's say elite is a 10 out of 10. He's a 9 out of a 10. So he offers that to the Jets offense. And this was something that we were saying before the draft, doing these live streams, doing whatever it was. Just saying in general, the Jets needed two things in the receiver corps. If they needed anything, they needed a legitimate deep threat. They didn't have one. I think Mims was the best deep threat that they have, not necessarily because of his speed, but because of his ability to win contested balls vertically. There's a difference between vertical contested balls and over the middle contested balls. And I didn't see a lot of Davis winning vertical contested balls. And they needed a gadget Yak type guy, and Elijah Moore is legitimately both of those. He's a 4.32, 4.34 guy. I forget exactly which one it was. I think it's a 4.32, but we're gonna call it a 4.33 because it's in the middle of the both of them. But a low 4.3s guy, and it's not one of those 4.3s that doesn't translate on tape. It shows up. That is for sure. There's a lot of guys who they'll run a 4.4, but when they're on the field and they're thinking they're doing all these things, they look like they're running a 4.6. He has translatable speed to his 40. So he is that deep threat. He plays bigger than his size, which I think is. I actually probably talk about that. I think he's 5'9", 5'9", 182 or something like that. 5'9", 180. Okay. So, but he plays bigger than that. Like he's not a guy who's going to win contested catches deep like Randy Moss or even like Mims. I'm not comparing Mims to Randy Moss, but more of like a Tyler Lockett, Santana Moss, Steve Smith. Like I can see all those comparisons where he's just going to beat a guy clean. And as long as you can lead him, he's not going to need to necessarily win contested catches. Robbie Anderson was not a guy who necessarily won contested catches, even though sometimes he did. His vertical contested catch ability is actually pretty good. But scissors, he's right here in the bottom. On its I forget what did Pullman call this, like a monster, whatever it is. It's a you can call this I call this a tight inverted slot formation, to each side mirrored. So they run a scissors. He's gonna break outside. He's gonna break in. Yep. Okay. And obviously there's nothing really special about this. It's cover 2. And this is a quarterback's read. Whatever this safety commits to, he's just going to throw the other thing. It's scissors. This is a perfect call versus cover 2. You literally couldn't have anything better. Or you could, but not really. It's it. As long as it wins, it wins. So post, catch, easy. That's all easy. But now we'll see some of the yak. Obviously, just noticing angles. This guy's coming over the top and high, so he cuts inside of him or underneath of him. So good catch. Overall, good route, fine. Good yak. Deep threat. You can tell the ones I put the arrows on. I probably shared on Twitter. So right here, slot, obviously. There's literally a massive freaking red arrow pointing to him. He's just going to run, I think it's like a skinny post or just a post. Yeah. Post. And this is where I talk about some of his ability to catch the ball deep. One, you like that he consistently comes off the line with his shoulders down. This looks like a sprinter, like he's sailing deep, which he's going deep regardless, but he does this on slants. He does this on hitches. He does this on everything where he really sells deep and really makes everything look the same. So the one thing to notice about this is not just that drive phase where he's selling with the shoulders down. You can see how he bends his stem into the corner, which is going to hold him. If he was to stay straight, he would stay in his leverage where he's at, and he would be right in his hip. But because he notices that he's outside leverage, what he's going to do? He's going to come off the ball. He's going to stem towards him to hold him outside. He's going to break in on the post to give himself more room inside. So it's the little things that matter a lot, and that matters that he bends it into him and then breaks it outside or breaks it inside. So good job stemming towards the corner to hold him outside, break inside, again, just giving himself more room. If he didn't do that, he would be much tighter coverage right here, the corner. Again, quarterback chucks it up deep and high points the ball, good tracking it. Obviously, good body contorting, good control of his body in the air, catches at its highest point. And again, not a body catcher, none of these things. If he's a body catcher, it'd be much more concerned for him winning deep. But you could chuck a ball up to him deep like this, and he will win. Again, do you want to do this consistently to a guy who's 5'9"? No, not necessarily. But if it happens, it happens. And this is as good as it gets in terms of high pointing a ball and then being able to bring it in. And again, and the other thing is a lot of receivers at this point would catch it and most likely fall, but he always has yak on his mind. So catch and again, keep his feet under him. So instead of going down at the 30-yard line, now he runs to, the 25. That extra 5 yards, that extra 6 yards means a lot in the NFL. We talk about it being a game of literal, inches, but it's actual millimeters. It's even less than inches. So obviously, unless you just didn't go to school. So more accelerate or excel. That's not the word. I'll spell that, but balance. Another jet motion. He's going to take the pass on the screen. Again, they use them in a lot of different ways. Obviously, a good catch right there with one hand. He probably could have went up with two, but he's confident in his ability to catch with one hand right there. And you're just going to see acceleration from him right here. That's all that really is. This is just showing some of his speed catching this ball and be able to outrun everybody who's trying to outflank him to the sideline. You can see it right there, balance on the sideline right there, ball in, easy, not much to go over. Okay, we have 48 plays. I don't want to spend too much time on just acceleration plays, but let's run through it. More yak, okay, right here. Yeah, right here. Just a flat route. That's all it is. They run a flat 7. The quarterback, not a bad job. He senses he obviously sees that blitz coming, so he's just going to get it out to the first guy open. Let him create and make this guy miss. I'm fine with that decision. Obviously, there wasn't a blitz here. He'd read high to low. Because there's a blitz, he just sees the first guy open, hits it. That's fine. Hot route. Cool with that. Now catches the ball. Obviously, angles to the outside, away from any interior defensive pressure. Corner's coming hard over the top. What does he do? Looks like he gets 2 hands on the ball. For the most part, in traffic, he does. I can't really tell here, to be completely honest, but look how low he is. Sticks his shoulder right into the chest of the tackler, or of the attempted tackler. Breaks the tackle, sheds him off again. Contact, balance, power. The fact that he knows leverage in terms of trucking through guys. A little bit of high step, get the first down. Again, that's what you do. If Zach Wilson's in the situation seeing a blitz, and there's one guy for Elijah Moore to beat in the NFL, obviously depending on who it is, I'm gonna take Elijah Moore for the most part, and then he creates that first down for Ole Miss's offense. So got to like that. Oh, sorry, get a notification. I have ADT, so I get notifications if somebody's at my front door and stuff. But that was not for that. Okay. What is this? Hands. Alrighty, he is right here. Right here. Could be right there. We'll see. Pretty sure he's right here. Yeah. Okay. Again, another levels type concept, cab, whatever it is. He runs a dig. Again, there's not really much of this with his route running. Obviously, initially stemming at the defensive back, fine. Angle inside, dig. It's not the sharpest thing, but again, he's playing some bad coverage, so you don't necessarily have to run the sharpest routes against guys who are not playing in good coverage, because if anything, you, instead of more of speed cuts, when you run square cuts for guys who are not playing good coverage, that just gives them time to catch up to you. So you have to kind of be able to feel what you're going up against. And I'm sure if this guy was to stay over top, being in his hip pocket, he'd probably try to stack him, hold his line and square cut inside. But because he's playing off and he's giving him the inside, he's just gonna just speed cut inside. He's not gonna completely break it down. So the route, again, I definitely want to see him more. I want to see him more in the NFL in terms of him versus bigger corners, him versus guys who are going to stay square. There were examples of him holding his line, leading into guys before he would break and things like that. But I definitely want to see it more because there wasn't a ton of examples. Like, he did work in his space, not I don't want to say quite often, but often enough where I wanted to see more of the other stuff. So again, plenty of room inside. Hands, not the easiest catch to make, obviously. It's a catch you expect your wide receivers to make, but when you're running over the middle, again, the quarterback obviously or ideally leads him right here. He has some pressure, so he can't, or he doesn't. I think Zach Wilson could. Ball behind him, not an easy catch, but look the ball in. Good hand technique in terms of his hands being tight, catches the nose of the ball, is quick to tuck it to his body, so it's not just loose and out there and gets fumbled. And again, he's a guy who is willing to take a hit. Doesn't matter if he's over the middle, there's a safety, there's a robber, a linebacker, does not matter. He will take a hit to catch the ball. And right here, he knows he has guys trailing him. He knows he just beat a guy in coverage. For him to stop and have to catch a ball like this, he knows he's probably going to get smacked in the face. Does he care? No, he does not give a shit. He'll take a hit. Love to see that, especially from a smaller guy. And that's where you see some of those Steve Smith comparisons come up, because he's a tough SOB. He just is. So let's see next. Toughness Catcher. Okay, so we're kind of going to see a similar type of thing right here. We have some plays of Eccles too. I think Eccles is right here. We'll do that, obviously, his review in the future. I only had like 2 or 3 Kentucky games, and to be completely honest, a lot of his games, like, there were just plays that weren't. A lot of plays were like him like bailing and him not being on the front side of a read. So like his receiver didn't really run a route, or there wasn't a lot of like translatable film that I saw that I can go off of. So his review is going to be like, I think I have like 7 plays in 2 games right now. I'm hoping to make it like 15 in the next game. Then I can make it at least like a 30 to 45 minute review. But right now I have like 7 plays of him in 2 games, because not a lot of it was like, this is a play that I want to show you guys. Like, a lot of it was like, oh, okay, look, he has speed here. Am I going to really record a play and just show you, okay, this is his acceleration? Like, I can tell you about that. I think you can trust me enough just to see acceleration. So let's see. Okay, sorry, he wasn't at the top right there. He is in the backfield right here. So backfield, and again, you can use him in a multitude of ways. And they just run this like sail concept. You run read deep, intermediate, short. I don't necessarily like how congested these are in terms of this route concept. Maybe he just cut it short because it was a side adjust versus a corner over top, so he wanted to break it. But just in general, I don't like them being within 5-6 yards of each other right there. But he's run deep, intermediate, short. He sees that he is open, intermediate again, and there's this cloud corner right here, so it's a little bit of a risky throw. But he fits it in there, the quarterback. And again, you know that Elijah Moore is super aware in general of defenders around him. And you can see as he's breaking out right here, again, nothing special with the route in terms of the break or anything like that. I'll talk about the other routes where he more square cuts and cuts back to the quarterback that are important in terms of stop step, pivot steps, drive steps, whatever they are. But some of the last ones have not really been overall. The only thing I could tell you in terms of these routes is even though they are square cut, they're more speed cuts. All of them have a lot of speed in them. So while I'm slowing it down, it might not look like the craziest route, but all the time there's plenty of speed in his routes. But again, while he's breaking out right here, he notices this corner, this cloud corner. He knows he's going to take a shot. Again, he's a guy who doesn't really give a shit if he's going to take a shot. Again, quarterback throws it up. He knows he's probably going to take a shot. Again, contorting his body control, high pointing it. It's not an easy catch to make. You can see he has to completely high point that. Hands are tight. Looks like thumbs are together. And catches it. Immediately tucks the ball because he knows he's going to take a shot. Again, he's not going to alligator arm stuff. I've not once seen him alligator arm a catch when he's going to take a shot. He does not care. I love it. Something that Yaboa did actually a little bit that kind of frustrated me for a tight end who's 6'4", 250. There's definitely times where he went up with one hand and tried to protect himself or alligator armed a catch or two, which I did not like. But we'll see if that changes the NFL. So catch, tuck. Again, the thing about the tuck too is he's aware of where the helmet's going. He doesn't tuck it into the right hip. He tucks it to the left hip away from the helmet. Takes the shot. Holds on to the ball. Awesome. You love to see that. 10. We are 20% done. Again, running through these plays. Had a lot of plays of him. And we have so much to do. You and I, in terms of film, some of these reviews I'm not just going to do two shows because, like I said, you have 20 plus shows by August, the end of August. Schedule release is tomorrow. I'm really excited to watch that. I've already mapped out my entire work schedule to see what game I can travel to. I'm hoping Carolina, Houston, Denver. We'll see. So more slot release, short stride. So he's going to be right here. So now we're going to talk about more of the route running. Okay, yeah. And this isn't – he doesn't even get targeted right here, but I really like the release. Again, whether this be man match, zone match, whatever it is. I'm not going to watch it a million times to do this, especially when it's a handoff. But this guy is responsible for him, this defensive back, and he is going to stride towards him or drive towards him, short stride. 1, 2, 3 again. And what that does a lot of the times is it just freezes guys' hips when you're short striding them because it basically just confuses the shit out of them, whether it be a short stride, a power skip, a hop step. There's a bunch of different moves to freeze guys. Elijah Moore does like the short stride guys. So I'm right here, close distance. Again, you don't want to short stride when you're too far away from him because it's not going to freeze him. It's not going to be overly effective because if you're freezing him while you're not 2-3 yards away and you're 4 or 5 yards away, he has time to recover. So you want to eat up that ground, eat up that cushion, and then do your move. So you have to have an awareness of the space that you're working into. That's important in terms of route running. He short strides him, freezes the hips again, or freezes the feet. You can see him right here. He's sinking, feet are frozen. Little head nod outside, pulls the elbow back, elbow jam, helps him turn inside. He reaches, and let's see if he does anything with his hands. Yeah, arm over with that left. Pull himself through. Looks like he chops down, and look, he has room now inside. So he beat him inside. So I like that. It was handed off. A lot of RPOs with Ole Miss. Towards the end of the season, they definitely force-fed him the ball. And it's something that both Kyle and I shared in our opinion, watching a couple games. And I watch obviously a lot more since 2 weeks ago to this whole review. You hear a lot of people say they force-fed him. They built the offense around him. I would say that at the end they did. At the beginning, I actually felt that he was underused. He was used too much as a decoy. They ran the ball too much. The quarterback ran the ball too much. I forget the quarterback's name is. I know he's like a top 5 quarterback next year's draft. I see the athleticism, but some of his decision-making was brutal, in my opinion. Like the Arkansas game, I think he threw like 4 or 5 picks that were all really, really bad. Like none of them were like, oh, tip pass. It was bad. But in general, I'm laser focused on just a guy I'm watching. But I noticed that the quarterback was not my favorite. Slot right here, attack ball. again, some of that route running right there, like it's the little things. Okay. And again, squares up the defensive back and just short strides again. He's super, like, you hear like patient but sudden in route running, and that's exactly what it is. Patience to close up the ground, and then short strides, sudden with the break. And that just screws up timing of guys. You don't want to see him rush things. Obviously, in some offenses, you need to have a certain timing to get to your spots. And that's why, like, a lot of like that senior ball stuff, I broke it down with Mims last year, and I would probably break it down with more this year, but I just had too many plays. A lot of that stuff, like, you have 4, 5, 6 seconds to beat your guy on a slant. NFL, you got to beat him in a second or two. So you're not going to be doing all this fancy footwork shit in the NFL because you need to be at a certain pace, because obviously there's timing. The quarterback's expecting you to be at a certain spot, but you can still be patient but sudden, but obviously you have to be aware of the timing of that play. That's why a lot of those like plays where it's like a one-on-ones, or there's no pressure from front four, you could do all that stuff. But here, again, patience, foot fire. Not even short strides, because he's pretty much in the same spot, but just a quick 1, 2, 3. Head nod out, little head nod outside. The corner completely bites outside. Destroys him. Open on the slant. Now, again, what does he do? Now he attacks the ball. What does attacking the ball do in this play? It angles him, and it inside, and it screws up the angle of the robber, whoever this is. I wasn't looking before that, but it screws up his angle because he's expecting him to continue on his, let's just say, slant, or it is a slant, but continue on his higher trajectory right here, and he's going to meet him on that upfield hip. But because he attacks the ball, he tends to loop around guys where their angle's screwed up, because they're expecting him to be in a certain spot, because not all the guys attack the ball like he does. So he's expecting him to be on that 40-yard line, that 41-yard line, and now he comes back to the 38. And now he thought he was taking an angle to the upfield hip, a proper angle, but it needs to be a little bit more conservative because he attacks the ball. So he really sets himself up for a yak really nice, again, with both the angle and attacking the ball and attacking, or the soft hands. He doesn't bobble, catches the ball, always looks it in, tucks it. Now, again, does that only lead to 3, 4 yards? Yeah, but it's still something to note for sure. And obviously, the patience and closing this ground, and then the foot fire really screws up that defensive back. He destroys them. So great route. Good job attacking the ball. Good job setting himself up for yak, obviously. The next play is also another yak play. Right here.
For the rest of this video, the full video, click on the link in the description below and become a JetX subscriber today.